that's the Formula 2, basically. Formula 2, Formula Ford.
Our Group 2 race, Formula 2, Formula Atlantic.
That's it, yeah.
Some really amazing technology and machinery. In their time, these cars were state-of-the-art. Everything that we knew about building open-wheel race cars with aerodynamics and downforce exists on these cars.
Basically dating from 1972 Brabham BT38 to a 1986 Rolt RT3, and all points in between. 17 cars altogether on this grid. We'll see how many of them make it out.
Should be a great looking race.
Should be good. Bound to be fast, bound to be close. If you were an up-and-coming racer in this period of time, or you had a lot of money, this would be what you'd be driving, hoping to make your way to Formula One.
Absolutely. This was the place where a young driver could get noticed and move up in the world. A lot of famous drivers got their start in these kind of cars.
And equally, if you had a lot of money and weren't very good, this would be where your career would end, because these are very unforgiving. They're small, they're fragile, they're light, and if you aren't as good as you think you are and you hit something, then basically you're in for a large rebuild of the car and possibly yourself as well.
Well, yeah, and you know, these cars, as you say, unforgiving, and you have to have a fairly quick learning curve to step up and drive one of these. They, as Monty Shelton likes to say, they don't drive themselves.
Well, and also this is pre-tricks, pre-downforce, pre-almost everything.
Well, they get a little downforce out of some of those wings, but not like you see.
Exactly. And of course, actually, you can see that in the spread too, because by the time you're back into the early 70s, then you're pretty much running a 60s car.
Yeah, you're there. You can see those with the flat diving planes, as it were, on the fronts of the cars versus the actual airfoils on some of the later ones. Yeah, one of the cars there on the grid, the number 5 Sony car. You know, it has a nice shaped nose, but no real downforce coming off of that.
The Portland North Harbor Collection by Marriott, located along the scenic Columbia River Channel, is the perfect choice for accommodations when visiting the City of Roses. Whether traveling for business or pleasure, the North Harbor Courtyard, Residence Inn, and Fairfield Inn and Suites have over 300 rooms where you will find all of the services and amenities you need for a memorable stay.
Chasing all over town for the auto parts you need? Stop! Baxter Auto Parts is here. We've got the parts and accessories you need for your car, truck, sport compact, or SUV. Plus car care tips to help boost your miles per gallon. Service, selection, and values. They're all right here at Baxter Auto Parts, the Northwest family-owned auto parts professionals since 1936. Need auto parts? Don't go chasing. Go to Baxter Auto Parts.
The Jubit's Cascade Grill, down home favorites available for dine-in or takeout across the freeway from PIR.
$1,600cc engine. And that car was sort of the state of club racing in 1976, and also light duty pro racing.
So we're just discussing between ourselves, and we'll share what we've been figuring out, what it would cost to go racing in one of these. Never mind the fact that you might just as well basically stand in the backyard and light cigarettes with $20 bills. That
$20 bills, $100 bills, please.
Well, I'm talking about chain smoking here.
Oh, chain smoking, yeah.
But anyway, so we're thinking you could probably buy a rough car for under 20 grand.
You know, you can. I think you can find there are plenty of Formula Atlantics out there. You know, a few generations back, less competitive, but you know, you can buy them. It's not enough to say that you can buy them for under $20,000 now. When the real problem is that your initial purchase price is going to be an insignificant part of the whole expense. These are cars that you know, in order to go out and race in them, you need very soft rubber. These cars don't weigh very much, so they use very sticky soft tires,
which don't last long.
Well, they don't last long. You know, you really do, if you want to race competitively, need a new set of tires every weekend for these, and each one of those sets of tires is going to run you $1,000 plus or minus a few hundred.
Well, it was just a thought. Okay, I'll do something else instead.
Yeah.
Besides, the other thing too is, and this is actually talking about needing to buy new tires, these tires are continuing to cure, and what cures them, which makes them hard, is heat cycles. So every time you run them, they get older, sort of, you know, as do we all.
And you know, one of the good things is, you know, really later than these cars. These cars are typically running Ford engines, but some of them will be running Toyota engines. Some of the more recent ones. And the good news for you is that they're running the...
Okay, let's look here. They're coming around. We'll see if we can tell you who's in the lead. Wade Carter's a red in the third place. Bernard Dukley in the second place. Number 39, that's Miles Jackson from Maple Valley in the 1975 Chevron. That's the white car in the lead. We'll put a clock on these guys and tell you how they're lapping. Catch them on the next lap. Since these things all occurred, we can only hold one thought in our heads at a time. And the next lap we'll be thinking about timing. So, as we said, Brabham, Ralt, Chevron, March. This really is a single Anson. A lot of Ralts here. These are cars that are pretty competitive in their day, which is one of the reasons why they're still around, of course, because that's one of the things you can figure out for vintage racing. Nobody really wants to spend much time on something that didn't work when it was new.
Yes.
Because that's just, you know, that's throwing good money after bad, or is it the other way around?
It's throwing good money after bad to pick out a car. But, you know, people choose their vintage race cars really for emotional reasons. They love the look of it. They love everything, not by the ease of maintenance or whether it was competitive in its day. And here they come around again.
And the first three are still the same. Dukley and Carter, and 01 is the fourth, and that would be Tom Stapleton out of Seattle, the 72 Bravo. And he's the fast guy, although in this instance, he's the fourth fastest guy.
Yes. Well, as I was saying, later on, you know, you had a variety of engines in Atlantics for a long time, but then later on they pretty much standardized on the Toyota 4AG, which is the same engine you found in the Toyota MR2, and that's just a very reliable platform, good power, and you know, it'll rev all day, and I think that probably brought costs down. Of course, Atlantics now are running a Mazda engine. They're running the I believe the 2-liter MZR engine.
Well, a lot of these are 1600 cc's. Are those Kent engines?
They could be a variety of engines. There are some out there running Ford engines. There are some out there probably running the Toyota 4AG, which is also a 1600 cc engine.
No, I thought it was a 2TC. Or is that a later version of that? I know this is arcane stuff.
Yeah,
it's never mind.
Okay, here we come on our lap timer,
and still Miles Jackson of Maple Valley in the lead.
And he was turning a 115, so just a 115.9, just a little bit slower than he is in the Frisbee, or at least slower than he was in the Frisbee when it was cool and dry and everything was perfect on the racetrack.
Well, that's pretty good going. Now we know why he came in early on the last race.
Yes, I think he wanted to definitely get that car cooled down and ready for its race later on this afternoon.
Well, he hopped out of that car into this one.
Oh, that's true too.
So you
Yes,
can't be in one if you're supposed to be in the other. I bet you had to push it up to the grid, came in, jumped out of that car and said, here, park this.
And hopped right into the other one.
Yeah.
Well, that's dedication to the sport.
He certainly should have his eye in, though, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
I mean,
speaking of dedication to the sport, those of you in the grandstands can take a look down and give a round of applause to our great corner workers here from Cascade Sports Car Club, out supporting our Portland Historics for 26 years now.
Absolutely, yes.
Cascade Sports Car Club, the oldest sports car club in the Portland area. And here come our drivers again. Let's see what their lap time looks like this time.
Wade Carter has now moved up to second place. And the number 5, Bernd Jukley, has dropped back a little bit.
Yep, still running in the high 115s.
125 is Joe Harding in that 86 Rolt in the yellow and the green car. As you can tell, these cars actually are pretty competitive, which of course is one of the points of a good class of cars. In theory, with the same driver, they'd all do exactly the same speed. So your variable is quite often, the driver. If you're in a class with good cars, it can be equipment, it can be tires, but the idea is that they should be more or less interchangeable.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, if the rules are set in a certain way, you can achieve this anyway. You can either legislate it, sort of the way IROC tried, where all the cars are supposed to be identical, or you can just say, here's what you can do, here's what you can't do, and anybody who's got a really good mechanic is going to basically go right to the edge of that line. And Wade Carter looking inside Miles on this one, and on the circus here on turn 12. Showed him a front wheel there, and then backed off. Another point about these are open wheel cars, so you don't have any room for error, you don't have any possibility of contact, because what happens then is you bend the suspension, and that's only the beginning of your worries.
Yes. Well, talking about the engines that we've got in these cars, this one, Alan Nicholas of Santa Maria, California, he is in the number 16 Brabham F2, and he may or may not be out there in this particular race, but that car has a Cosworth FVA 1600 4-valve.
Okay.
Twin cam, BDA, all kinds of...
This is the old Lotus Cortina motor, isn't it?
Yes.
Ah, I remember those. Yes, it's a great motor if you watch it like a hawk, is what I recall.
Yes.
Kind of like the old MGA twin cams.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Could be a great motor if you're really good.
Yes, and lucky.
Yeah. We were talking about that earlier with the... Wade Carter is really pressing the point now. Yes. All which goes back to say, as we were, that these cars are extremely close, and there's not a lot of places to pass on this track because it's very narrow.
Yes.
And if you have an open wheel car, there's not going to be any question you coming in with donuts along the side from where somebody else's tire hit the door of your car.
Which is an exciting experience when it happens to you. And they're turning about 1/16s here as they go through the race, and that's not uncommon to see the race laps slow up just a little bit, about a second, as the drivers dice for position.
Yes. Well, and also as the tires start to go away too, which they're going to be.
Yes, by the end of this race, I mean they'll have given these cars will have given everything they've got.
Has to be just about a perfect day, doesn't it? Light wind from the west.
It really is a great day for racing here at Portland International Raceway, and especially we had such a long and wet and cold spring.
Well, Wade Carter pressing in on Miles again.
Carter keeping the pressure on, but I don't think Miles is going to intimidate very well.
Well, where's he going to get him? Let's think about this. Is he going to get him? He's got the chance to get him on braking before he goes into the chicane, right?
There's a chance. there's a chance of getting somebody under braking in the chicane, but that's a risky move. It fails more often than it succeeds.
Yes, and if it fails, it can leave you in a bit of a mess, and in the gravel to boot.
You know, one of the things that folks who have driven PIR for a long time come to understand is you may have to set up a pass a half a lap in advance.
And we have the car coming off right now. That's Bernard Dukley. He was running second, number 34
machine.
Well, he's going to be disappointed.
Yes.
I'm sure that somewhere along the line some gauge told him something he didn't like.
Well, and it's better with these old cars to discretion is the better part of valor in these.
Well, it's certainly the cheaper part of valor.
Is the less expensive half. Anyway, as I was saying, you know, Wade. It looks like. See what he just did there. He let Jackson get a lead on him, and then really ran down in turn 10. And if you can take turn 10 flat out, you can really get a run on them through 11 and try to get to their inside for turn 12.
Well, when I was racing bikes here, the thing to do was to come off at the end of the backstretch, and if somebody you were watching wasn't, you could get outside of them and then come inside, and that would be that's one of the places. But again, you're on brakes. You're trying to do it on brakes. And if you overdo it, and you're going too fast to save the next turn, you end up out here in the grass, and I've done that too.
Well, we've all done that.
Yeah, but on a bike, it's never good, especially if the grass is wet, because it's like you're on a bar of soap.
I'll give you that one.
And
that's the number 01 car.
Oh, that's
Tom
Stapleton coming in
the Brabham. You know, with the repave that they did, they repaved PIR completely. I mean, dug it down to the underlayment gravel and laid down all new material for this track. And they changed the track configuration in one place significantly, and that's turn 7. Wade Carter once again all over the back of Miles Jackson.
I don't think. The problem is he can't really slipstream because the front straightaway is not long enough.
I don't think he is going to be able to close the deal. Jackson's a wily character.
Yes.
But they significantly widened the approach to turn 7, and then they made it a sharper corner, and they moved it back about 20 yards. And so what that has the effect of creating this wide open area where you can gamble on one of several lines.
Well, that's turn 4, right?
Yeah, in your mind it would be turn 4 as a motorcycle racer.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. They narrowed it down. There's only one line now. There used to be several lines through there.
Well, there are still several lines through there. There's the acknowledged fast line for cars, but if you do it right, you can come in on a suboptimal line and get in front of somebody, but you're then gambling that they won't be able to take it back, getting onto the back straight because you've blown all your speed.
Right.
And we can see the Carrera Motors cars lining up again now. I see Greg Swanson down there in the Porsche Boxster, getting ready to give a pair of fabulous hot laps. Greg, of course, past president and longtime member of Cascade Sports Car Club. We've also got the Audi A4, the Porsche Panamera, and the Audi A7 in addition to that Boxster. And for $20, you too can take 2 hot laps with a professional auto sports instructor and have the time of your life on this track. If you haven't ever been around the track from the seat of a fast sports car, you really owe it to yourself to do that. And all money raised through this Hot Lap program goes to benefit Community Transitional School, which helps children who are suffering or at risk of homelessness in our community. So it's a cause you can feel good about.
Whoa, Wade Carter makes it around the outside.
Wade Carter seals the deal in turn 6.
Yep, outside Miles Jackson in turn 6. Now, and he looked as though he had enough to basically, if he could get in front, he looked like he had enough power to catch up with him, so maybe he has enough power to get away. We'll find out when they come into, turn 10 down here. The backstretch now.
Oh, look at that. Jackson's back in front.
Jackson gets him again. Okay, so I'm guessing we should watch this because
Group 7 cars. Group 7 cars. Here. You should be on the pre-grid now.
Where
Group 7 cars. There's just a little over 5 minutes
what I was talking about
to the start of your
Carter had
race.
enough to get by him in turn 6 as they went into turn 7, but he sacrificed his back straight speed.
Yeah, that could be.
And Jackson was able to pull that back from him.
Yes, they're coming out of the chicane. They're heading. I'll bet you this is the last lap. Or
could well be the last lap, and we see.
Okay, now watch. See, going right through what 4
now
and
they're
5.
coming into 4. Now 5.
Right,
Coming
and
through
this
turn
is
5.
And this
and
is
there's
see, he's doing
there's
it again.
Carter again
But
passing
he's-
in turn 6.
Yeah, but you're
but
right.
that's putting him to the right. That's Carter's going to have to now make short work of the of turn 7.
So
and
it's the backstretch is the
Jackson's-
issue.
Jackson's going to get a much better launch through turn 7 and take that pass back on the back straight if Wade can't make it stick.
I bet he can't.
And we'll find out in a few seconds. Yep, and here they come with Jackson back in the
Same
lead.
again.
Same thing again. Carter can pull that pass in turn 6, but he can't make it stick. You know, Portland is really a strategy track.
Yeah.
You know, you have to understand the course and where you're going to be fast and where you can't afford to give up that speed.
Does he have another go? Is there another lap?
And it looks like they're slowing significantly
Yep.
and relaxing as they come through the chicane. So I'm guessing we just got a checkered
That's
flag.
it. Yeah, I bet you we did. So
But great racing
Yep,
from
Miles-
Wade Carter and Miles Jackson.
Miles
in
Jackson
this Formula
takes that
Atlantic
one.
race.
Which after they must have traded the lead probably half a dozen times on just those 2 sections.
And the balance of our field coming around now to take the checkered flag.
Well, some good racing there. Our next class will be Group 7.
Group 7, small bore sports cars. This group is always fun to watch. These are the cars that you've dreamed about owning and you could actually afford if you wanted one.
I don't know if you dreamed about owning. I think you hoped. You dreamed about owning the 60s cars. These are
Yes.
the
We can dream about owning the Ferraris.
the
we
Ginettas
have,
and the things like
and
that.
the Ginettas. We have owned the
Oh,
MG
yeah.
Midgets and the Triumph
Yes.
Spitfires.
Yeah. These are the cars that, God bless us, we try to drive on a daily basis. And there go our winners. A handy race between those two. Okay, what you'll be looking at this time. Alfa Romeo, Lotus, MG, Elva, Porsche, Austin Healey, Triumph, Austin Coopers, TVR, Elva again, let's see, and a Ladybird. That's an unmistakable shape, Paul Ingram's car. Datsun 2000, the black one, which is a fast car and which I think won some of the earlier heat races in this, so if it holds up. And Paul Perry's 67 Saab Sonnet.
Well, our qualifying results from yesterday have Paul Jaremko in the Datsun 2000 Roadster in the lead. That's a black and gray car, very nicely turned out. Second place outside of the front row, the number 163 machine. That's an Elva Courier from Ken Pieri. Making up our second row, Donald Stern in the Lotus Silver and Black Super 7. And the number 37 car, that's a blue car of Steve Phillips, car formerly owned by Brian Waters. That car is an Austin Mini Cooper S, and it's bright blue. You can't miss it. And the third row begins with the number 41 MGB.